He called his parents at midnight, told them his car was in a ditch, somewhere outside of Lind, Minnesota. He didn't know exactly where he was. It was dark. He'd been driving home from a party. His dad got in the car and drove toward where Brandon thought he was. They stayed on the phone the whole time. Brandon kept walking, looking for landmarks, trying to figure out where he was. And then, his dad heard him say, "Osh," and the line went dead. Brandon Swanson was never seen again. No body, no car, no explanation, just a phone call that ended in the middle of a Minnesota night. This is the story of Brandon Swanson. Hey, I'm Alex, and this is Echoes. Every week I sit down and dig into a case that the world moved on from too quickly. This one is different, because Brandon Swanson didn't vanish into thin air without warning. He called his parents. He was on the phone when something happened to him. And nobody, in over 15 years, has been able to explain what that something was. Let's get into it. Brandon Swanson was 19 years old. He lived in Marshall, Minnesota with his parents, Brian and Annette. By all accounts, he was a normal kid. He had friends, he had plans, he was working and figuring out his future. On the night of May 13th, 2008, Brandon went to a party in Lind, Minnesota, a small town about 12 miles from Marshall. He stayed at the party until late, at around midnight. He got in his car and started driving home. He didn't make it far, somewhere on the dark country roads between Lind and Marshall. His car went off the road, into a ditch. He wasn't hurt, but he was stuck. And he was somewhere he couldn't quite place in the dark Minnesota night. So Brandon did what most of us would do. He called his parents. It was around midnight, maybe a little after. He told his dad, Brian, that his car was in a ditch, that he wasn't sure exactly where he was, but that he was okay. Brian Swanson got in his car immediately. He drove toward Lind, toward where Brandon thought he might be. And here's the thing that makes this case so uniquely haunting. They stayed on the phone the entire time. Brian driving through the dark Minnesota roads, Brandon walking, looking for landmarks, trying to figure out where he was. They talked for over an hour. Brandon seemed okay, a little frustrated maybe, but okay. He kept walking, he kept looking, and then, at around 1:47 in the morning, mid-sentence, Brandon said, "Osh," and the line went dead. Brian called back immediately. No answer. He called again. No answer. He drove to where he thought Brandon might be. He searched. He found nothing. Not Brandon, not his car, nothing. The car was found the next morning. It was not in Lind, where Brandon thought he was. It was near Taunton, Minnesota, miles away from where he believed he'd gone off the road. Brandon had been walking in the wrong direction, in the dark, the entire time he was on the phone with his father. He was heading away from town, away from roads, away from help, and toward the hole in the mountain prairie, a vast, flat, remote stretch of Minnesota farmland with drainage ditches, and darkness in every direction. Search teams were called in immediately. Law enforcement scoured the area. Volunteers came from surrounding communities. Dogs were brought in. Helicopters flew overhead. They searched for days. They found Brandon's car. They found tire tracks. They found his footprints leading away from the vehicle. And then the footprints stopped. Just stopped in the middle of a field. No signs of struggle. No indication of what happened next. Just footprints. That ended as if Brandon Swanson had simply ceased to exist. The investigation that followed was one of the largest in Minnesota history. Over 1,000 volunteers participated in the search. Law enforcement from multiple counties coordinated. The Minnesota River, the drainage ditches, the fields, all searched. Multiple times, and still nothing. No body, no clothing, no personal belongings, no Brandon. Investigators considered every possibility. Had he fallen into a drainage ditch? The area was full of them. Deep, water-filled, invisible in the dark. Had he wandered into the Minnesota River? It ran through the area, cold and fast in May. Had someone picked him up on that dark road? Had something else entirely happened in those last seconds, before the phone went dead? Nobody knew. Nobody knows. And the words, "Oh, shh," have haunted his family every single day since that night. Brian and Annette Swanson did not give up. In the years following Brandon's disappearance, they became fierce advocates for missing persons legislation in Minnesota. They pushed for a law, now known as Brandon's Law, that requires law enforcement to immediately begin searching for missing adults, rather than waiting the traditional 24 hours. Before Brandon's Law, police in Minnesota were not required to treat adult disappearances as emergencies. Brandon's family changed that. Their grief became action. Their loss became policy. And because of them, thousands of families in Minnesota now get immediate help when someone they love goes missing. That is Brandon Swanson's legacy. But it doesn't answer the question his family still lives with every day. What happened to him? Where is he? The most widely accepted theory is that Brandon fell into one of the many drainage ditches that cross the area. Minnesota in May is cold. The water in those ditches, fast-moving, deep, dark. If Brandon stumbled into one in the dark, disoriented, possibly exhausted, he may not have been able to get out. The ditches in that area were searched multiple times, but drainage systems are complex. Water moves. Things shift. It's possible, investigators say, that Brandon's remains are still out there, in a ditch, underwater, undiscovered. This theory is painful, but it's the one most law enforcement officials quietly believe is what happened. A terrible accident, in the dark, on a cold Minnesota night. But not everyone accepts it. Some people who have followed this case closely point to that final moment on the phone. Oh, shh. And then silence. They argue that the way Brandon said those words, the tone, The sudden cutoff suggests he saw something, not that he fell, that he saw something, something that scared him, something that made him stop mid-sentence, something that came from outside. These theories have never been proven, and there is no evidence to support foul play. But the phone call haunts people because it sounds less like someone who just stumbled into water and more like someone who suddenly realized they were not alone. There is one more detail that investigators have never been able to explain: the footprints. They found Brandon's footprints leading away from his car, walking, then stopping in the middle of a field. No explanation for why they stopped. No indication of what came next. In 17 years, no one has been able to explain those footprints or what Brandon Swanson saw in the last seconds of that phone call. Brandon Swanson would be 36 years old today. His parents, Brian and Annette, still live with the not knowing. Every year on May 14th, the anniversary of his disappearance, his family remembers him. They continue to advocate. They continue to push for answers. They continue to hope, because without a body, without a confirmed cause, there is always hope. And that hope is both a gift and a burden that no family should have to carry. Brandon's case remains open. If you have any information about the disappearance of Brandon Swanson, please contact the Lyon County Sheriff's Office in Minnesota or the National Center for Missing and Exploited Persons. His family deserves answers. He deserves to be found. I'm Alex, and this is Echoes. Before you go, I need 3 things from you. First, leave a comment. Tell me what you think happened in those final seconds. What did Brandon see? What made him stop mid-sentence? Was it an accident or something else? I read every single comment. Every single one. Second, share this. Send it to someone who loves true crime. Someone who deserves to know this story. Because the more people who know Brandon's name, the harder it becomes for his case to be forgotten. And third, subscribe to Echoes, because next week, I have another case for you. One that will make you realize that sometimes the most terrifying thing is not what we find, but what we never do. You do not want to miss it. This case is not closed, and neither is the next one. I'll see you next week. The silence is always louder than you think.